enchantment. Puerto Rico es muy pequeño, pero tiene muchas cosas aquí. La isla tiene muchas playas para natación y dormir. Puerto Rico es parte de Estados Unidos, pero las personas piensan no consideran todas las personas americanas. La isla es muy antigua y tiene mucha historia en todas las partes. Puerto Rico es muy bonita, pero las playas, las junglas y muchas más. This is the island bird, and it's called the stripe-headed tanager. And this is also the island flower, and it's the Puerto Rican hibiscus. And Puerto Rican hibiscus is all over the place on that island. But the island is 100 miles long and 35 miles wide, and you consider it to be a smaller island, and it has 4 million people on it. It's like one of the most populated islands in the world. And Puerto Rico was first inhabited by the Taino Indians, and they still live there today, and they have some places for them to set off. But there are also many like monuments that they had back in whenever they were there. But this is a ceremonial game they play, and this is the field, and it's like a baseball kind of thing, and it's called the Bate, or the sacred place of celebrations and meetings where the Taino Indians interacted socially through the ball game in different forms and shapes. And they have like these stones lining the whole entire thing because it's so sacred. And the characteristic of the Bates were defined by the different constellation and seasons of the so-called year, because they had a different year than what any other Indians had. But a lot of the stuff that originated in the language they speak today in Puerto Rico came from these people, and they used to call the island Borican, which means land of great lords, and that Indian group had very many different kinds of lords. But they had many words that originated, and this is hurricane, hurricane, hammock, hammock, and barbecue, barbacoa.
Mm-hmm.
And also the slip came from the Taino Indians, and it was a symbol for marriage in women, and normally that like stuck out underneath their dress so they knew whether they were married or not, or they just wear that around instead of having it like a slip like it is now. And then this structure is called El Morro. It's very, very old. The construction began in 1539, and it was designed to guard the entrance of San Juan Bay so Puerto Rico wouldn't be taken over. And many people have tried to take Puerto Rico over, but because of this structure, they didn't succeed. A couple people succeeded from going on the backside and coming inland, but most of the people inhabit this end of the island. But the outer walls are 6 meters thick, and there is 6 levels of walls. Like this is upper level because there's lower levels as it goes down towards the ocean. And there's 6 levels, and it reaches up to 145 feet high. And this is at night, and this is looking down from the walls, and that's a sky view. There are many different beaches in Puerto Rico because it's an island. It's very well known for its beaches. And the climate on the island is fairly stable throughout the year and averages 82 degrees year-round. The island has 270 miles of beachfront, and there are many variations in beaches. And there's black beaches, magnetic sand beaches, and beaches with rusty color sand. And there's also white beaches, and these beaches help make Puerto Rico a favorite tourist destination. The white beaches are the most favorite because they're prettier, but the black beaches get more tourist attraction because they're not so common. And then there's San Juan, which is the capital of Puerto Rico, and San Juan has 2 parts of it. There's the newer part and the old part, and the new San Juan is more modern and has many city buildings like normally have in a modern city. Like this is what it looks like, and those are apartment buildings, but it's like New York City or anything. And that's more of the like industrial and business section of it. But then you have Old San Juan, where the tourist destination mostly is. And Old San Juan is the oldest city in the U.S. territory. It was founded in 1519 by Ponce de Leon and is 490 years old. Old San Juan is very colorful and full of life and old traditions. And this middle picture is Old San Juan Street, and it's like the most famous street in San Juan because it's one of the first streets that was ever made in that city. And a lot of it has like stores along the side of it. But these are like stores and houses. They look like this because of the Spanish influence. And then you have the Cathedral of San Juan Bautista. And it's not the biggest church, but it was one of the first founded churches. It's the oldest building in San Juan. It dates all the way back to 1521. It's one of the most important parts of Puerto Rico because most of people's relatives who came to Puerto Rico can be traced back to this place and where they got married and baptized and stuff. The remains of Juan Ponce de Leon are here in this cathedral because he was the first governor of Puerto Rico, and this is his tomb. And it says stuff on here, but I don't even know what it says because it's all in Spanish. But this is one of the places. It's very popular for weddings because it's so pretty on the inside. On the outside, it's not the prettiest thing, and it's not that big at all. Like, that's pretty much the whole thing. Because it has this little section and this little section, and then these little rooms off to the side. And in Puerto Rico, communication is very different than what Americans are like. Puerto Ricans greet their family and close friends with a kiss on the cheek. They consider it respectful to stand close to someone during a conversation. And hand gestures are an important component of communication to them. They don't care whether they're in your space or not. They just kind of are there. Close, touchy-feely people. And cockfighting is still legal in Puerto Rico. They have coliseums in every town for it. And they even passed a bill in 2007 that said it was legal because it's part of their culture. And they do have and get enjoyment out of watching animals die, I guess. But it's something they've done forever, so they keep doing it. And then, just a little fun fact. One of the world's largest single-dish radio telescopes is found in Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. And it measures 1,000 feet in diameter and spanning almost 20 acres. And there's a whole museum that goes along with it. But it has the capability of probing objects 10 billion light years away, and is the only radio telescope in the world that can accurately predict when and where an asteroid will hit the Earth. And it's located kind of in the middle of nowhere.
You could tell.
And then this is considered the mascot of Puerto Rico, and a lot of people think of it as like the national animal, even though that bird is their bird, or whatever. It's called a coqui, and it's a tiny little tree frog that only lives in Puerto Rico. And unlike most frogs, coquis do not turn into tadpoles before they become adult frogs. The female lays about 28 eggs, and at least 5 of the species of the male broods and guards eggs, aggressively forcing the female away soon after laying. When the eggs hatch out, they come to be tiny froglets that look like tiny versions of their parents. And there's 16 different species, and they all live on the island. And this is the eggs that they protect. And they usually lay them in the leaves and stuff. But this is an adult, and that's what a baby looks like, and that's how small they are. And they get to be about the size of a penny when they're older. But that is it.